everyone, welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Nina, and here at this channel we talk all about mental health, personal development, and understanding our own psychology. So if you're not already a subscriber, please go ahead and become one. We definitely want you to stay connected. So today we're going to be talking about two different cognitive distortions that can greatly increase both anxiety and depression symptoms. Now, these are called mental filtering and discounting the positive. Now, there are many different types of cognitive distortions, which you may already be aware of, but I wanted to focus on these two today because they have a lot of similarities. So firstly, what is a cognitive distortion? Well, the American Psychological Association defines cognitive distortions as faulty or inaccurate thinking, perception, or belief. And in most cases, negativity is the defining characteristic. So why would we develop faulty thinking? Well, research really suggests that it may be a way for us to try to cope with adverse life events, and the more prolonged and severe these events tend to be, the more likely it is that we will develop a cognitive distortion. And with time, they can become habitual thinking errors, and we can start to interpret all the events in our life in a very negatively biased way. But because we don't realize that there is an error in our thinking in most cases, we believe our thoughts to be reality, which can have incredibly negative consequences in our life, such as increased anxiety, relationship and professional difficulties, and deepened depression. Many of our cognitive distortions occur as automatic thoughts. They are so habitual that we don't realize we have any kind of power to change them. And with time, we just kind of think that that's the way things are. So let's go ahead and discuss the two cognitive distortions that we're focusing on today. The first is called mental filtering. This occurs when we dwell only on the negative details of a situation and filter out all the positive aspects. With this cognitive distortion, we view ourselves and our lives and our future all through an incredibly negative lens, and we tend to be highly self-critical. So subconsciously, we start to sift through all our experiences and find only the negative aspects. And that's where we're going to focus all our energy and our attention, because we already have this negative belief. So we are going to find as much support to show that this is really the case. So let's say, for example, that we post a photo on social media and 99 people just love it. They have extremely wonderful things to say about it. And then there's one singular person who has something somewhat negative to say. Guess where our attention is going to go? Our focus is going to go on that one person. So even though 99% of all the people that we know loved the photo, we're still going to only think about that one person that did not. Or maybe we're playing a soccer game, let's say. We make a whole bunch of goals, but we miss one singular one. We're going to focus on the one we didn't get, not keeping in mind that we made 12 points for the team. Or let's say that most of the time we get very high scores in school, but we get one low grade on a quiz, and we're going to be sad because all we're thinking about is that one low grade and not remembering that we are doing fantastically well in the rest of our academic career. Mental filtering can influence our perception in an incredibly unfavorable way, because when we are always looking for the negative in situations, guess what? We will always be able to find it, because we are always seeing our glass as half empty. So when we struggle with this type of cognitive distortion, it is likely to also increase our feelings of hopelessness and helplessness. The second is called disqualifying the positive. This occurs when we reject positive experiences by insisting they don't count for some reason, and we maintain our negative belief despite contradiction. So here we're going to completely disregard any praise or any compliments we receive. Let's say something goes right in our life. For example, we get a promotion. We're going to acknowledge that we got the promotion and that it is a good thing, but we are not going to take credit for the accomplishment. We're going to say that it's because of luck, or that nobody else was available, or they just felt bad for us for some reason. Same thing might happen if we receive a compliment. We're going to think it's undeserved, or we're going to assume that it was insincere in some way. Or if we have a positive outcome, we never think it's because of something that we contributed to. We never think it's because of our skill or our talent or our hard work. We're going to assume it's because of a mistake or an anomaly or something else. We are never giving ourselves credit when it's due. So in a sense, we're really convincing ourselves that we have no control over our lives, because we are basically saying that nothing that we do matters, that everything that is happening to us is because of luck or outside circumstances. And when we have this type of thinking, of course, it's going to lower our motivation and our self-esteem, because we don't think that we are doing anything positive. We just think that things are happening on their own. And this can also increase our anxiety and depression. So what really is the difference between the two? Well, when we are discounting the positive, we do see the positive. We are acknowledging that it's there. However, we are not acknowledging our influence over that positive. We do not believe that we had a hand in that positive outcome. Whereas in mental filtering, we do not even see the positive at all. We can look right past it because we are purely focused on the negative. So you may be thinking right now that you absolutely engage in these types of cognitive distortions. And if this is the case for you, let's talk about how we can really learn to correct these negative thought patterns. The first thing that we need to do is to start to recognize when they are happening. So usually these thought patterns are so habitual, we have no idea that we are engaging in a cognitive distortion. They just simply are part of the way we normally think. So we have to start by noticing when it is happening, and just by learning what the cognitive distortions are, it makes it a lot easier to identify them. The second thing that we want to do is really be clear with ourselves about what this type of thinking is really costing us. Is it negatively affecting our mental health? Is it causing us to feel anxious or depressed? Is it interfering with our relationships? Or is it keeping us from reaching goals? When we have a better understanding of how this type of thinking is really harming us, it can make us a lot more motivated to make the changes that are necessary. The third thing that we need to do is ask ourselves what the perceived benefit is from this way of thinking. We tend to repeat behavior that we think helps us out in some way. And even though we may be thinking, how could a cognitive distortion be perceived as helping us? Probably there's something that we think that we are getting out of it. Maybe deep down it helps us to feel safe, or keeps us from having to venture out or to make decisions or to take chances. There's something that we think we are getting from it. So that's something that we have to be clear about, because again, it's really an illusion. The fourth thing that we need to do is to reframe our negative thoughts. So we need to instead question these automatic and irrational thoughts. And the most effective way that I have found to do this is through cognitive behavioral therapy, which is something that I have a full video about if you're not aware of what this type of therapy is. But it's something that you can practice with a therapist, and also something that you can use as a self-therapy, which really helps us to really take a deeper look at these thoughts, see how rational they are, and then reframe them into something that is positive and constructive and uplifting for us. So again, I'm going to link down in the description box below that video about cognitive behavioral therapy if it's something that you want to know more about. So as always, I truly hope that today's video was interesting and insightful to you, and I would love to hear if you feel that you are struggling from either mental filtering or discounting the positive. I would love to hear your experience with that and what you feel will be most helpful in your own thought transformation. And also do become a subscriber if you aren't one already. We definitely want you to stay connected, and I truly hope that the rest of your day is extraordinary. See you next time, guys.